You're not listening to me. Move.
Well, hey there guys, how are you doing today? So basically what I bring you guys today is I bring you a 2012, right?
Yes.
Dodge Durango. Unfortunately, she didn't expect this to happen. As you guys can see, we've got a lot of coolant underneath this thing, and basically the reason why I was called out here was this vehicle had a major oil leak. When I say major, it basically had an oil core failure like all these 3.6 Pentastar engines have. So we went ahead and replaced the oil core. Brand new, is $300 from Chrysler. Did all the gaskets, and it's got all brand new lower and upper intake gaskets. And come to find out, Chrysler really cuts a lot of corners with their vehicles, and it's very sad. I mean, it's a 200,000 mile vehicle, but it runs really good. But unfortunately, last week you got it a little hot, didn't you?
Yes.
And basically what ended up happening is we put everything back together, we purged the coolant system, and we couldn't get the coolant system to purge. And basically we had nothing but air in the cooling system. And we start the vehicle up, it would run decent, but then we shut it off, we start it back up again, then it would start missing really bad, and now it blows white smoke. So basically it's got a blown head gasket. And it's not a real good situation for the customer here to be in, because you know, there are some things that are going on in everybody's lives nowadays, and including hers too. So let's take a look at the oil core here. Unfortunately, you know, Chrysler really cut a lot of corners with this vehicle, and all vehicles with a 3.6. If you look at the housing here, these gaskets right here that sit in this little groove right here, over time what happens is these gaskets get very hard and they become very brittle, and what happens is you start leaking oil and you start leaking coolant. And basically what ended up happening was she was running this last week and she didn't realize that it was leaking oil, and basically it was leaking coolant, and it got hot. So it was basically, you know, like one of those catch-22s. So I mean, what could you do? I mean, there's nothing you could do. And basically right now she's to the point now where, you know, we could throw a head gasket on it, but it probably would be cheaper to put an engine in this vehicle for her. And it's just really sad that, you know, Chrysler has to cut corners, you know, when they build something. And it always seems to be Chrysler when it comes to stuff like this. And I don't care what people say and think about this engine. This engine's a decent engine, don't get me wrong. But when you cut corners, you know, and you could have made the housing out of metal or aluminum, whatever, and you obviously wouldn't have this issue. But with the plastic housing, you get the thermal heat cycles, and over time that plastic breaks down, the gaskets break down, and guess what? You lead, and this is what happens. This is what happens, guys. And yeah, it's a nice vehicle, but unfortunately, you know, it's probably going to need an engine. I don't know what you're going to do. That's going to be something that you're going to have to decide what you want to do with it. So I mean, it's sad, guys, that, you know, you spend your hard-earned money on something like this, and this is where your hard-earned money ends up. Is because of stupid little things like this, with Chrysler cutting corners on their 3.6 Pentastar engines. I'm not saying the Pentastar is a bad motor, guys. It's a decent motor. But this is the problem right there. She didn't realize it was going to happen like this. Basically, we start this thing up. This hose is still, I mean, you can feel it. It's still rock hard. So, and that's basically where we're going to leave it with this thing. And you know, if any of you guys own a Durango Jeep, anything that uses 3.6, you know, I would advise going in there and taking care of and replacing that oil cooler housing. You can get a new one off of Rock Auto, Amazon, wherever. I mean, anything is better than a 200,000 mile oil cooler in there. So that's where I'm going to conclude this video, guys. I really appreciate you guys joining me here today. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys on the next video. Thank you.